Hello, Fuse Nation. My name is Alex Fuse, the host of Fusion News. It is March 30th, 2017, almost April. And this weekend is, of course, WrestleMania. And joining me on the phone right now in Orlando to cover WrestleMania with CBS Sports is the Brian Campbell. So, Brian, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, doing great, Alex. Thanks for having me back on the show. Yeah, like you said, in Orlando for Mania for me, my first time attending the event, which seems crazy. It took me 38 years to get here, Alex, but I'm fired up.
Yeah, and I wish I was in Orlando right now because here in upstate New York, we're supposed to get more snow tonight. So I wish I was down there in Orlando enjoying. You got NXT, the Hall of Fame, and of course WrestleMania all this weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend for you, right?
Oh, absolutely, man. This is I cover a lot of big MMA, cover a lot of big boxing events, but this weekend, in terms of my itinerary and totality of the schedule, this is as busy as it gets. There is something going on at every hour of this weekend for WWE, for the other independent promotions around that, for Legends. I mean, there is just, this is everyone's Super Bowl in sports entertainment. So it's a pretty wild time down here.
So the road to WrestleMania began at the 2017 Royal Rumble, which saw Randy Orton become the winner in that match, and that's when the road to WrestleMania started. How would you grade WWE's road to WrestleMania leading up to this big event this Sunday night?
That's an interesting question, because in certain feuds it's been incredible, and in certain feuds I'm just going above and beyond to give them credit for the twists and turns and that phrase I always say, attention to detail, really making it matter. I will say though, as a whole, I felt that they played it a little bit too safe, and they've under-delivered in terms of buzz. Now, Alex, I've talked to you on here in the past. I think that brand split last year was a major success in creating more stars. And you see that. It's really hard to get on this card this year. There's going to be some really good matches on that kickoff show. But as much as this is a really deep card, I don't know if they did enough to give you that red-hot buzz for more than just, let's say, 2 or 3 matches. If I'm going to give them any criticism, it goes back to that word. It was a safe build-up in my eyes. And I think that's also part of this new era for WWE, where it's not about convincing people who are watching regular TV to drop down that $50 for the pay-per-view. The people that are going to see this, for the most part, they are network subscribers already. So I don't think we see as red hot of a go-home show, let's say, or even the weeks before, where it's top to bottom, can't miss, like we saw in previous years. Love what they're doing in 3 to 4 feuds, don't get me wrong. But I think that I'm going to give them about a B-, considering what could have happened leading into this.
I have to agree with that. And that feud between Randy Orton, the Viper himself, and Bray Wyatt, that really built up a lot of heat between the fans getting excited for this match, and that kind of took a backseat to the Miz and John Cena and Nikki Bella and Maurice feud in the past few weeks on SmackDown Live. And I know you are a big Miz fan, right? And I know you want to see the WWE give the Miz another WWE title run in the future, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think he's deserved that. When I originally heard that they might be working together, we know they were in that 2011 WrestleMania main event, where the Miz constantly referenced that moment for the last few years, even when he was down and out in his career, was not going in the right direction. I thought rehashing that would have been fun. Like a lot of people, when they announced this was going to be a mixed tag team, I felt it was a waste. I felt you were wasting the opportunity to really tell a good story, give Miz what he deserves. But hey, give them credit for taking my low expectations, flipping them upside down, and doing it with that reality-style build, where Cena and Miz are essentially doing a rap battle for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and it's some of the comedy maybe with those Total Bella skits may have not been everybody's cup of tea. But in terms of digging up stuff that we, as viewers that are watching, can convince ourselves is probably real stuff that's talked about in the locker room. To see that drag back and forth, that's intense. That elevates something to the red hot level. They've done very well in that regard. I think you got to give Maurice specifically credit. She doesn't usually say a lot of words, but the times that she has in this feud, she's delivered. I don't know where this is going. I mean, Alex, I've got to ask you, would you be, is it in play for there to be a John Cena real life proposal after this match? Are we going to see Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth all over again? Would you pop for that?
I think that this, WrestleMania we will see John Cena propose to Nikki Bella, and I would not be surprised if this is kind of hinting toward the John Cena retirement announcement.
Wow. We know that he's definitely leaving after Mania for another TV project.
Yes.
We know he's going to be. He says he's going to be back and forth in the future like The Rock,
Yeah.
but that's interesting. If they go that route, if they do the proposal route, it's either going to be really cheesy or it's going to be really good. And it's one of those potentials to be one of those true WrestleMania moments if done right. There's a lot of buildup about why John's never proposed in terms of the Miz and Maurice using that as fire. So we'll see where that goes. Like I said, credit WWE in this specific feud for giving us more than we bargained for.
I have to give the WWE another credit with the Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho feud that began all the way to the beginning of the brand split last summer, and this feud has been leading up to this big match at WrestleMania. It is for the United States Championship, and Chris Jericho, granted, he got destroyed by Kevin Owens in that festival of friendship, and we haven't really seen Jericho do anything with the United States Championship since that, since he has won the title. But that's not his fault. That's WWE's playing into the part of writing him off the show for a few weeks, playing into that storyline. But I am most excited. This match is probably my top 3 most looking forward to this match.
Yeah, I think now that Neville and Austin Aries, the Cruiserweight Championship match, which I am very much looking forward to. Now that that's on the kickoff show, I think this opens up the door for Jericho and Owens to really steal the show from an in-ring perspective. And I think that what's going to help them do that is the fire that's built up in the storyline outside of it, because that's one of those hooks that every person watching can get involved in, that sort of friend turning on a friend. Someone, exposes that they were using the other one, or that they were never, really serious. Everybody can relate to that in their life, going back to, Hogan and Savage and how well that was done, to Hogan and Orndorff for years. But I mean, there's endless examples in WWE history, there's endless examples in everyone's real life history of this kind of thing. So when you have that as the Red Hot Foundation, and believe me, that Festival of Friendship you referenced was one of the better Raw moments, not just this year, last year, this decade, I would say. And that will set the stage for what really can be a great match between two performers who haven't wrestled against each other a lot because that they've been on the same side of things for the last 6, 7, 8 months. That's where I'm really excited. It's the same feeling I have with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. We haven't seen them wrestle each other every single week like WWE likes to do. They like to ad nauseum have the same guys wrestle on Raw. Next week, same guys wrestle on Raw. The next week, you see them in a pay-per-view and they're back wrestling on Raw. And these two feuds, specifically in Owens and Jericho as well, the fact that we haven't seen them in the ring a lot gives them a lot more opportunity to paint a great picture. I think you're going to see that KO match come on earlier than you're going to expect it to. And what that will do is give it that early chance to draw that first real major pop with a great match. In the same slot last year, and a lot of people forget about this match, when AJ Styles and Chris Jericho fought last year, I thought that was arguably the best match of the whole show. Not a lot of people talk about it, but that early, when the sun's still out, this could be that match that draws those early pops.
Okay, and one match I think really hasn't been getting a lot of buzz over the past few weeks is a Fatal 4 elimination Raw Women's Championship match between Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Nia Jax. And this match, has really lacked that buzz, and I think it's been adding, Nia late in the running towards WrestleMania. She was just added a few weeks ago on Raw and really changed around the whole match, making it a triple threat match, now a fatal 4-way match, now elimination match. It's really been, switch flopping all over the place. I'm really excited for this match. I think this match could potentially steal the show. Do you think we could see potentially Sasha Banks turning on Bayley? Or do you think this could be maybe Bayley turning on Sasha, which not a lot of people are talking about?
Wow, good. The pure white meat babyface going dark. I don't know if that would be the big shocker to me. I'm not as excited about this as I want to be. I think when you do get a multi-person match like this, we saw it last year with that great Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky triple threat match. The potential is strong to have a memorable match. My problem has really been the build-up. It was clunky. I think it exposed the weaknesses that are there with Bayley. I think they rushed her into that title. They didn't put a lot of real detail or buzz into her reign. It's been a lot of recycling of Sasha might turn eventually, right? Like, it's been a lot of that where I'm not as excited as I should be. I think in the past few weeks as I watched that play out, I'm not sure WWE didn't make a mistake by not going back to that well one more time with Sasha and Charlotte. We saw them feud against each other for the whole second half of 2016. A lot of great matches. That could have been the second or third most important match overall if they wanted to build it that way, if those two fought. Going the route of 4 women, I think, takes away from that. I haven't believed in Bayley as champion. So I don't, the fan in me is not cheering for her to leave with the belt on Sunday. And if I'm going to put the finger on one person, I think it's Charlotte, because I think they're trying to build that history as quick as they can. That yes, she already is the best women's wrestler in history, and if she's going to try to get close to her dad's 16 world championships, I think that's part of the reason why she gave up the belt so many times last year. She's at 5 now, I believe. This could be 6 on Sunday.
Oh wow! And we'll switch gears and go back to SmackDown Live. And this is a surprising match. I'm surprised that AJ Styles is facing off against Shane McMahon. Really, giving that chip on the shoulder that AJ Styles, who was, facing up against Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon, if he's in a match, it's going to be against a great competitor like he was against last year against The Undertaker. So this is really, pat on the back for AJ Styles, which we have known he's really been phenomenal over the past few weeks. And this match, if Shane McMahon puts on a great performance, this potentially might steal the show. I know every single match on this card has a potential to steal the show, but would you be surprised if AJ Styles and Shane McMahon stole the show like Chris Jericho and AJ Styles did last year, according to you?
Yeah, I think this could be more of the steal the show in terms of giving you that one moment from WrestleMania you're not going to forget. And every WrestleMania typically has 1, 2, maybe 3 iconic moment where I go, hey, what'd you think about WrestleMania 9, right? And you're just like, oh, yeah, Las Vegas, but outdoors, It's that one thing. Last year, of course, it was Shane jumping off the cage against Undertaker in a match that was hit or miss, but that moment really encapsulated what that WrestleMania was all about. Yeah, you could see that again here with AJ and Shane. I think the interesting part is, though, there's stipulation-wise, it's just a regular match, and they worked that into the storyline this past week of AJ essentially saying, what are you going to do? If you go outside the ring, you're going to get counted out. I think I want to see which direction they go with that. Will that limit the amount of big time high daredevil spots? I'm not really sure. I do know that I was disappointed that they went this route with AJ. Maybe they felt like they didn't have a better option for him, and giving him Shane is still someone that in WWE's eyes brings so much star value to the table that this is still going to be a match that will get that push that people will care about. I'll give him credit for the early build, throwing Shane's head through a car. I mean, that really grabbed your attention. But since then, I'm not really sure I'm that hooked. But to that end, nobody's talking about this match suddenly. And it's that same sort of thing I mentioned about Owens and Jericho, where with all the other matches on the card, when no one's talking about this one, just like nobody was talking about John Cena and AJ at SummerSlam last year, right? That was about the 5th match down on that card. Sometimes it gives you that opportunity to steal it. If they do steal it, it'll be in some grand, ridiculous moment that I'm interested as anyone to see how it happens.
Now, one of the feuds you've been really invested in since the brand split is, of course, Triple H and Seth Rollins. And I know you were trying to get Triple H back onto TV. We didn't see him till late of last year. And are you excited that this match, do you think Seth Rollins is going to be 100% for this match, or do you think he's just really been selling it, part of the injury, really well? And do you think this match, is going to be one of those matches that we look back on and being like, that was a great WrestleMania match?
Yeah, there's certainly that potential there. I think that Seth's done a great job at selling. Is, and I think that it's good of them to put a little bit of a twist on this match, so it's not just a regular match that falls in the line, that it's a non-sanctioned match, that there's that extra hook that Seth is still hurt, and storyline-wise, he can't sue the WWE if he gets his career ended. But obviously, we know the performer Seth is. It hurt him so bad to miss WrestleMania last year with that knee injury. He wants to come back and have a real moment, have it, really build that resume and that career. And Triple H has still got it, as we know, at 47. And this is a storyline that goes back pretty far. They wanted to do this match last WrestleMania, of course. So to reignite it, it's worked because Triple H is one of the best that WWE has at getting them in there on Raw, raising the property value instantly, delivering a top-notch promo, and then backing it up with some physical statement in the ring. I got a chance to interview him last week where I put him on the spot, like you mentioned. I've been single-handedly trying to get him back to Raw last year when he took 5 months off, without notice. He sort of came with the response of, I've been doing Roll now corporately with the company. It was time to give, the young guys the push. If you're going to ask me, point blank, do I agree? Is he telling the truth? I think it maybe had more to do with WWE doesn't like going up against the NFL in the college football season. So maybe that was more of a reason for Triple H to take a step back. But I think as much as it hurt the product when he did it then, they picked up right where they left off, and this is now red hot because of that last few weeks. Samoa Joe does not have a WrestleMania match if you look at that, and he's played a big part in this build as well. So you got to think he shows up. Does Finn Balor show up as well? I mean, you've been following Twitter like I have. He's out there on those house shows in New York State the last few weeks. He's back. He's ready to go. That's probably more likely that we see him on Monday night. That Raw after WrestleMania is always the big reveal. But I think both Finn and Samoa Joe are at least in play to have a hand in how this plays out.
Okay, Brian, before we wrap up this interview, we're down to 2 more matches on this WrestleMania card. We got Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker in a battle for whose yard is who, and also the WWE Universal Championship match between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. And who closes the show? If you go the route where The Undertaker, this could be his last match. I know he's having hip surgery right after Mania. So if this is Undertaker's last match and Roman Reigns defeats The Undertaker, do you want that closing out the show? That's the main question.
The build has been enough for that Reigns Taker one to close out the show. And I think when Taker does have that final match, barring some catastrophe of an injury that forces him out earlier than he wanted, I think you'll see that retirement angle as part of it. So that gives me pause that this isn't the end for Taker. That there's still a lot of money on the table when he does fight Cena one day at Mania. And if that comes next year, that would make a lot of sense. But I think you have to go Brock and Goldberg at the end, because that's why you put the Universal Championship on Goldberg to add that extra level of appeal and of meaning to this match. They already had the star power to potentially close, but when you put the company's biggest title, the one that they've pushed the hardest the last 6 months out there in that match, it has to go on last. And I think strategically, it gives them an easier out. You remember last year's WrestleMania like I do. That was a 5-6 hour investment in your time and your energy. And when it got to that main event, because that Rock segment, that Rock appearance took a long time. When it got to Roman Reigns and Triple H, those fans are ready to boo no matter what they saw. And that was about a 24-minute match that probably felt like it went 23 minutes too long. And in hindsight, it was actually a pretty good match, but it just came at a point where the fans were just done. Putting Goldberg and Lesnar on last, you only have to go 7 or 8 minutes, and you can still tell an interesting story. And I don't think the fans are going to be upset about it. I think it's because they've set the storyline up where we've only actually seen Goldberg for 10 seconds one time, 22 seconds another, 3 minutes in the Royal Rumble. So I think that's got to go last. Reigns and Taker is interesting right now. I think Taker ends up taking a loss. And the reason is, if you read those dirt sheets where they say, what direction is WWE going in for next year's WrestleMania, there's a lot of talk about Reigns and Lesnar meeting again. And if the storyline is set up where both of them are the only men to have defeated Taker at WrestleMania, well, then that's a nice little subhead that you can put under that match. That's definitely the main event if they end up going that route. So this will be important to give not only the victory to Roman, but give him that extra level rub. And of course, he's going to get booed when he does it. Nobody wants to see the legend go down. But thank you, WWE, at the very least, for teasing a heel turn. A heel turn I don't think is coming, but at least giving us the tease the last few weeks of what it would feel like if Roman got pushed in that sort of grimy or dark direction that I think would really unlock him to superstar.
Now, Brian, before I wrap up this interview, one quick last question. I know I forgot to mention the Tag Team Championship on Raw match. It's also a ladder match. And who has played in a lot, performed a lot in great ladder matches at WrestleMania is, of course, the Hardy Brothers. Do we see the Hardy Boys coming back at Mania?
There's a lot of rumors that they've been in talks. We know that they're out of their TNA deal. We know that they're doing some work with Ring of Honor, but that they'll be here this weekend. If I had to guess, I think that's a Monday night reveal because historically, the last few years, that's what they do. That next night after Raw, they bring a couple people up from NXT. They ridiculous pop on Monday. Sometimes on Sunday, they already have you, right? You're already in the building. You're already tuning in for the spectacle. The matches that are already set up are already going to be what they're going to be. It would be great if we saw the Hardys on Sunday, but I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. My bigger question, Alex, I'm going to spin it right back at you. You follow this close like I do. Who do you want to see them feud when they come back? I mean, do you want to see them in the Wyatt family, let's say, or do you want to see them against the Wyatt family? I mean, there's a lot of fun that you can do with these guys.
You know, I'm not going to say the Wyatt family. I'm going to say the New Day.
Yes.
How about that?
Well, the New Day does not have a match on Sunday. So
No.
You're of the belief that we will see the Hardys. Maybe it's in some kind of, situation where the New Day is out there with the mic telling jokes and the Hardys crash the party. Now you got me fired up, Alex. Now you got me thinking about the possibilities now.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. And, of course, you will be there at WrestleMania. So where can the fans follow you on Twitter through this long WWE weekend?
Yeah, check me out at B Campbell CBS, and we just launched our WWE page this week on CBSSports.com. Check that out. It will be filled with video and previews and a lot of good stuff coming the next few days as we are at Media Day tomorrow, as we are at the Hall of Fame NXT. A lot of good content will be coming your way. I'll be tweeting out the links as well. So follow the action and Fuse Master. You're going to be watching it. You're going to be at a party. Where are you going to be? You're going to we're going to see some chips and dips out there. A crowd of people watching this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be tuning in to the Hall of Fame, NXT, and of course the big one on Sunday, WrestleMania. I'm excited. Hopefully, Roman Reigns does not defeat the Undertaker. That's the only thing I'm hoping for. I don't want to see the Undertaker go down, but we'll see what happens, right?
Absolutely. You never know. You never know. Old Vince still has the book, so you never know what can happen.
Yes, definitely. Thank you again, Brian, for coming on this show right before WrestleMania weekend. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Enjoy.
You too. Okay, Fuse Nation, I just wrapped up that interview with the Brian Campbell of CBS Sports. Well, that was a pretty good interview. Talked some WrestleMania. It's going to be a great weekend of WWE. It all starts tomorrow night on the WWE Network for only $9.99. And if you are a new customer that wants to purchase the WWE Network, I'm going to plug this for the WWE. Well, you can buy it for the next 3 months for only $9.99. That's a great deal. Get multiple pay-per-views, all the content on the WWE Network. Okay, Fuse Nation, I'll be back here live tomorrow. Big show with Tim Kirchhoff from ESPN. We'll be talking opening day baseball. That's also on Sunday. Big weekend for sports fans. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow at 2:40. Thanks for watching.